Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at the Briar and Bone box for Warcry by Games Workshop. So first of all, I want to say massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free early review copy to have a look at on the site. In this video we're going to be having a look at the Briar and Bone box, all the contents and the rules, see how the warbands operate in the game, and then towards the end of the video we should have some painted examples to show off, to show what they look like in the flesh. This one's turned up a little bit close to pre-order day, so we might not get the whole lot painted up, but I'm hoping we get the Sylvaneth and the Gnarloak painted up, and hopefully a little bit of paint on the Bonereapers too. But yeah, this is a box that it seems like it was announced a long time ago, pitting the Sylvaneth with the new Twistweald warband against the Teratic Cohort of the Osiarch Bonereapers. Now interestingly, rules for both of these warbands are included in the faction packs for Age of Sigmar as well. So if you are kind of on the fence about picking this up and want to use them for AOS, yep, both of these do have rules in their faction packs, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, I think the death of Warcry has maybe been a little bit exaggerated. I've got a feeling that it's going to be going on and we'll still get kind of cool and unique warbands like this, because just like Kill Team, Warcry is a really nice way of introducing more kind of niche, I guess, warbands and unusual stuff that wouldn't necessarily be included in, you know, the main force of an army. Gives you a chance to have some different weird stuff. So yeah, let's have a look at this set. Without further ado, let's crack this open and see what is included inside. So this is £85 direct from Games Workshop. Obviously if you pick it up from Element or somewhere, you're going to get it a little bit cheaper. Which I don't think is bad again for the two warbands, the scenery and all the rules and stuff. So let's have a look at the kit. So first of all, we have got the Twistweald. So this is the Sylvaneth set. And this is an interesting warband because it's got like 3 dryads in there, and then a lot of the kind of revenant stuff, but new looking stuff. You've got a guy with a bow, you've got a guy who looks like a bit of a caster in there, one that's a little bit more sinister and spite revenant looking. And I believe the lore for these, again we'll see this in the book as we look through the review, but I believe the lore for these is that they've got some kind of like parasite or something which is making them kind of angry and act kind of out of their usual thoughts. But yeah, these look really cool. Sylvaneth had some really nice kits recently, so the chance of using these alongside stuff like Belthanos and the Dragonflies and stuff, they've got quite a nice updated range now, and I'm sure they're going to get some more stuff as the edition goes on. They are against the Bonereapers, and again this is a really cool set. You've got like a centaur guy and a couple of warriors, and then the rest are like dogs and bats and stuff. So again, a nice concept for the Bonereapers is they're not skeletons reanimated. All of the Bonereapers are crafted out of bone stuff into whatever form suits Nagash best. So this is like a hunting pack, I suppose, in Bonereaper form. And yeah, they're really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing like how big the centaur guy is, because I think that'd be a really cool unit if they got something like that in Age of Sigmar too. So yeah, the other kit in here is a bit of a freaky one, and that is the scenery piece. It is a Gnarloak that is very hungry and is going walkies. Yeah, really cool looking kit. I'm looking forward to painting this one up. I'm a big fan of painting scenery, so a chance to paint up a carnivorous tree, well, I'm not going to turn that down, am I? So yeah, I'm going to be working on this one and adding it to my my scenery collection. But yeah, that looks really cool. So in the box we get bases for all the models, and then all recent kind of Games Workshop releases have moved away from single-use plastic like the film and stuff on the boxes, and instead everything's in like card or paper packaging now. So let's have a look at what is in here. This is all the cards, and again these will use some of the other scenery sets. So if you've picked up the expansion box, then you'll be able to use a lot of this. You might need to sub out some parts if you don't have all of the various scenery sets from this release. And obviously we've got our twists and victory conditions in there, along with the faction cards. Again, we'll have a look at this closer when we look through the book to see the kind of stats of everything. I'll give them a quick flick through now while we're going through it. So obviously you get the two warbands in there, and these are handy for reference. And then you get all your scenarios and maps and stuff in there too. So all the usual bits and bobs. And then we do also get a full expansion, which again is just in this little wallet, along with the assemblies and instructions. So we'll have a look at the actual kind of supplement itself a little bit later on. I'll just grab these out of the box so you can see what the warband looks like with their unique reaction and their various abilities. Again, we'll look at that in a bit more detail when we get into the book itself. We'll go through kind of what they do and how they act and the like. And again, you get a nice universal abilities card in here as well, which they've included in the last few ones. Makes it a lot easier for remembering how they work. Now, before we jump ahead to have a look at the supplement itself, what we'll do is just have a quick look at how the kits go together. And again, for Warcry you get a lot of different builds for them, so make sure you have a proper read of the instructions and work out which kind of weapons you want to give them and which kind of units. For the Bone Reapers, I don't know if there's much choice. It looks like there are a couple of weapon options. I don't know from a rules point of view if they've got different profiles. It looks like they probably do. So again, you might want to build one of each or a mixture. The actual animals look like they're fairly straightforward. The Sylvaneth, however, do have a lot of options for bows, axe, sword and shield for one of them. You've got this kind of sorcerer looking guy. Again, you've got quite a few options across the warband, so you're definitely going to want to work out which ones you want to build here, because yeah, you do have quite a lot of variety. They do look very, very cool though. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the flesh, painted up. And then finally we get the big horrific carnivorous tree in all its disgusting grisly detail. And again, I'm looking forward to painting him up because I think he's going to be pretty fun to do. So yeah, what we're going to do is have a look at the Briar and Bone book now and see what rules content is included in there. So let's take a look at the Briar and Bone supplement itself. And one thing that's interesting about this book is that it makes multiple reference to this being the final fight for the Gnarlwood. So I suspect this is the final box in that kind of Gnarlwood storyline. There's some really good kind of scenery and stuff, and there's been some really good lore developments within this. So I'm interested to see if if we do get a new season of Warcry, where we go to next. We've got a new environment to fight over, maybe something in actually the realm of fire to fit in with the current setting of Age of Sigmar. Because for 3rd edition, they did a lot of kind of tying the various kind of related games together from a lore point of view and universe point of view. So yeah, it's interesting to see where we go to next, because I know a lot of people will be keen to see some fresh scenery and a fresh vibe, because we have been in the Gnarlwood for a little while now. From a lore point of view, Nagash has sent the Osiarch Bonereapers to try and get to the Crash Seraphon ship after many months of people trekking through the Gnarlwood. The kind of like the core of the ship's been found, and this is what the Osiarch Bonereapers are after. They're up against the Sylvaneth, and the Twistweald are an interesting kind of offshoot as well. So when the ship crash landed, its kind of terraforming drives overloaded and started kind of going mental and creating stuff that it normally wouldn't do. And one of the things that it has created is this parasitic growth that is not only working its way through kind of the gnarlwood and any kind of trees and stuff there, it's also attached itself to the Sylvaneth as well. So these Twistwealds are slowly going mad with this kind of parasite growing through them, all these kind of vines and roots, and you can see them on the models as well, which is a really nice touch, kind of to tie it in from a lore point of view. But yeah, they're slowly driving mad, and they're concerned that they will kind of infect the Sylvaneth race at large if this if the gnarlwood isn't kind of dealt with. And so their kind of goal is to bury the ship, make sure no one ever goes to it again, and with their kind of rituals and stuff, make sure this is the end of the this kind of infestation in the gnarlwood. And that basically sets up the storyline for this kind of final battle. The Bonereapers trying to get their prize for their Master Nagash, and the Sylvaneth basically trying to destroy it and get rid of it and save the day. So it's been fun, this storyline, and I'm excited to see where we go to next. We get the miniature gallery as ever. We'll see some painted miniatures of the Sylvaneth and the big freaky tree thing later on. But the Bonereapers themselves are really, really cool, kind of really creepy look to them, and I hope that's something that we see kind of further in the Bonereaper range as we kind of get a new battle tome maybe in the near future. But yeah, moving on to the kind of like supplement stuff. If you've played any of the Warcry boxes, you know what to expect here. This is basically a mini battle tome, I guess, for the two factions in the box. So we get the full rules for them, which are also in the cards within the box as well, that we saw a little bit earlier. And you also get kind of campaigns to run through as well using them. There's also a lot of content in here for all of the factions in Warcry, but we'll get to that in a little bit. First of all, we'll have a look at the Teratic Cohort, the Bonereaper force in the box. They're pretty tough. So you've got even the little dog things on 10 wounds each, and a toughness of 4, 20 on the big guys. You've got some big spikes of damage in some of these too. So yeah, pretty tough force. Their faction rules kind of all revolve around spending your wild dice in order to do additional abilities, and there's ways of kind of generating additional wild dice as well, which is cool. So their reaction: Predatory Ravage. A fighter with Teratic Cohort rune mark can use this reaction after all damage points from an enemy fighter's melee attack have been allocated to them. The reacting fighter may make a melee attack action that targets the attacker. You can discard one of your save dice, but if you do not, you subtract 1 from the attack and 1 from the damage allocated by each hit and critical hit. So that's really cool. So basically, as a reaction, you can just attack someone back. If you do spend a wild dice, then you get to attack as normal. Otherwise, it reduces that kind of damage output. So that's pretty cool. And then their abilities: Bestial Leaps is a double. The fighter can make a bonus move action of up to 3 inches and can fly when they do so. When a fighter uses the ability, you can discard one of your wild dice, and if you do so, it can make a move action of up to 4 inches instead and can fly when they do. Either Catacross is an important one. So you roll a number of dice equal to the value of the ability. For each 5+, you can add a wild dice to your saved wild dice. This ability cannot be used more than once per battle round, but that's basically, with a lot of these abilities, spending those wild dice, you're going to want to use that every battle round to try, with a high number ideally, to try and generate some extra dice to get the better versions of your abilities off. So that's quite cool. Nudrite Strike, add 2 to the attack's characteristic of the next melee attack action made by the fighter. You can discard 2 save dice. If you do so, critical hits are scored on a 5+. A triple, Archery Severing Strike. A fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been allocated 1 or more damage points by a melee attack action made by them in this activation until the end of the battle round. Each time that enemy fighter makes a reaction or an action other than wait, roll a number of dice equal to the value of the ability. For each 2+, allocate 1 damage point to the fighter. And then Unleashed Rage is another triple. 1 critical hit from the next melee attack action made by this fighter scores 1 additional critical hits. You can discard 2 saved dice in order for it to cause 2 additional critical hits. And then finally, a quad Savagery Unbound. Each fighter with a Teratic Cohort rune mark in this fighter's battle group can make a bonus move action. When a fighter uses this ability, you can discard 2 wild dice. If you do so, Each friendly fighter can make a bonus move action instead of the just the battle group. So yeah, pretty cool. I think they're quite fun, especially if you can get that Eyes of Catacross off every turn to generate some more wild dice. There's going to be some interesting stuff you can do with them. On the other side, we've got the Twistweald. So again, they're pretty tough. You've got toughnesses of 4 and 5 across the board, and again, maybe less spiky damage than the others, but you've got some big hits like this guy here with the 2/5 critical and 4 attacks. Yeah, there's some pretty good stuff there. Their unique reaction is Mycelial Ravaging. A fighter can make this reaction when they're targeted by a melee attack. For each hit of 5+, you allocate 2 damage to the attacking fighter. So that's quite good to kind of deter maybe heavily wounded fighters from attacking you, because there's always that chance that you're going to be dealing, well, I guess a third of the damage coming back as 2 damage each. Double Flesh Piercing Talons. Critical hits are scored on a 5+. Double Voracious Swarms. Pick an enemy fighter within 12 inches and roll a number of dice equal to the ability. For each 3+, allocate 1 damage. That's pretty good. Double Eruption of Thorns. Roll a dice for each visible enemy fighter within an inch of this fighter. On a roll of 4+, allocate a number of damage points to the fighter being rolled for equal to half of the value of this ability. And then triple Thorned Grasp. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 3 inches of this fighter, then roll a dice. On a 2+, allocate 2 damage to this fighter, and then you keep rolling until you roll lower or equal to the previous roll. So your ideal solution is you roll first of all, you get a 2+, you roll again, get a 3+, and carry on all the way till you get to a 6. That will give you the maximum amount of damage you can allocate there. And if that went off, which is, unlikely, but there's a good chance you could do a fair bit of damage. What's that, 10 damage in total you could do? Pretty good. And then triple Devour Infection. Pick a friendly fighter within 12 inches of the fighter and roll a number of dice equal to the value. For each 4+, allocate 1 point of damage to that friendly fighter, but for each point allocated, add 1 to their attacks. So basically you deal damage to yourself in exchange to getting more attacks. And then Twisted Song. Remove a number of damage points allocated to this fighter equal to the value of the ability. The fighter can then make a bonus move action or a bonus attack action. So again, pretty good. There's some nice abilities for both of these factions, and I think they'll be quite fun to use on the battlefield. But we also get rules for the Ravening Gnarloak as well, the big gribbly tree monster in the box. Essentially, there's a rule here that allows you to kick fighters that fall within 2 inches of the mouth into it, and there's a chance that they just get slain when that happens. So if an enemy fighter falls within 2 inches of the mouth, you can choose to kick them in. If you do so, you roll 3 dice and add the number of damage points currently allocated to the fighter. If the total is greater than their wounds, the fighter is taken down. So that is pretty good. I think the average of 3d6 is 11. So on a lot of things you are, regardless of the damage done on them, probably taking them down on the weaker end, and you've got chances of taking even big stuff out of the game immediately. So that's quite cool. You probably don't want to stand near it because there's a good chance that you're going to go down. Now, one interesting thing that they've added in this book, which again kind of makes sense if this is the final volume in this, I guess, story arc, are battle traits. So battle traits are new abilities that each faction in the game can unlock. You don't have to spend any dice to use them. They are always on. So this kind of, if you want to play Warcry and use all the rules, this kind of makes this something that you're going to want to pick up. Obviously, if you're fighting people who haven't picked up this book, it is kind of spelt out here that both the players get to choose if this ability happens. I think they're fun and adds an extra layer, but obviously this does kind of split out the player base to those who have this book and those who don't have this book, which makes it a little bit odd. Now, presumably at the end of the season we'll get a big compendium with all these books in, giving everyone access to everything. But yeah, at the minute it's a bit of a strange situation where people who haven't got this can't really use it. But essentially you can pick either an ability that relates to your Grand Alliance. So we've got Order here. Any Order 1 can have Courageous Defenders. When they take cover, critical hits become hits on a 3+ rather than a 4+. So that can be taken by any order faction, or you can drill down into the kind of faction rune mark. So Sylvaneth, for example, we've got in this box. Spirit pathways you could unlock instead of the Courageous Defenders, and that lets you walk the spirit paths by without spending any ability dice. Or if you're one of the warbands that has got basically one of the ones that has been released in this season, you could then drill down into the kind of the sub rune mark. So Twistweald for Sylvaneth, for example, which then gives Twistweald the choice of Order, Sylvaneth or Twistweald abilities that they go for. This is pretty cool. So it opens up a lot of abilities across kind of all of the armies in the game. Like I say, all the rune marks are really related to those that have come out in this season, but there are a couple of old ones in there, like the Splintered Fang, Trantless Brood, the Untamed Beasts, pretty much all of the Warcry warbands that have been released so far. So it does give you you know, quite a lot to play with, which is pretty fun. Obviously Chaos by far have the most, because they've had well, all the warbands in the first couple of seasons were just Chaos, so they get a lot there. And again, we've got a list for Death and Destruction as well. So what's really nice, whatever faction you play in Warcry, you're going to get some additional rules here, and it gives you a nice little bonus during games that kind of goes towards making your faction feel more like they, I guess, should from a lore point of view. So that's really, really fun. We then get the campaigns in here as well. So again, this follows the same kind of structure of ones from previous books. We get quests for both the Bone Reapers and the Sylvaneth, with some nice kind of like artifacts and abilities and results on your tables and stuff to play through. And then we do get a full kind of campaign tree as well, no pun intended with the Sylvaneth, I guess. And this basically kind of represents the Sylvaneth trying to enact their ritual to bury Talaxis, and kind of what happens whether they do that or they fail, and the Bone Reapers manage to take it as well. So that's really fun. And then as ever, all the cards in the box apart from the scenery layout cards are in here as well. So if you don't have the cards and this gets released later, you can just generate your missions using the various victory conditions and the layout maps and stuff, which as ever is really, really cool. And then finally, like with all the other books, we do get some background tables as well to generate some kind of lore, fluffy kind of origins and names and stuff for your various fighters in your warband. So let's jump ahead to the future and have a look at some of the painted models. So we've been working on painting up the contents of the Briar and Bone box, and there's some really, really nice models in this set. I got round to painting the big horrific Gnarloak thing, and that is a really, really strange model. So with a big kind of moor in the top of it and the platform. It's quite big as well. If we put it against one of these dryads, it is quite a chunky piece. I like that it's different than the rest of the scenery as well. This really kind of like stands out compared to the other stuff. I know some of the earlier Norwood sets, we had very similar scenery, but now we've got some nice different pieces with this and all the kind of Seraphon ruins and stuff. I think it's made a really nice set, which, you know, is really good for games of Age of Sigmar as well to have as a nice kind of varied battlefield. Now, I didn't get round to painting up the Bone Reapers, but I have built them. So we'll have a quick look at those. They are very, very cool models. I kind of hope that we get more like Centaur guys as part of, you know, a future Bone Reapers release, because they're really cool. These guys are more in common with the stuff that we've already seen for the Bone Reapers. They're still very cool though. And again, I've given them a range of the different weapon options here just to maximise kind of options in games of Warcry. And then we've got the weird kind of flying bat things. They're very cool. Again, I'd love to see kind of more stuff like this for flying units and cavalry units for the Bone Reapers. And then finally we have the dogs, which again are suitably horrific as far as dogs go. They are pretty cool with all like horns and stuff. And again, they're not kind of like reanimated constructs. These are kind of like built out of bits of bone and stuff, so it gives them a different kind of vibe to your classic kind of like undead stuff. So yeah, they're very cool. Now Stacey has been working on the Sylvaneth and has done an amazing job painting all these up. They are really, really nice models. The Sylvaneth have had quite a few nice models recently across their you know, the various waves they've had since their last battle tome came out. I kind of expect the Sylvaneth to get a battle tome relatively early in the life of Age of Sigmar, just because we've had stuff like Belthanos and stuff recently, and these guys, it kind of feels that they do deserve a new battle tome for 4th edition with some cool new stuff in it. It's worth noting as well, if you do play Age of Sigmar for either of these two factions, the rules are already out there, so if you picked up the index packs or downloaded the free ones off Warhammer Community, you can already play with these guys in AOS. So yeah, he's really cool. We've got a guy with a bow. Again, very, very nice model. And Stacey's done a really good job on these. She's got quite a big Sylvaneth army and was eager to be able to paint up the new bits. Again, this guy's another one of my favourites with the big whip, and again you can see those kind of parasites running through them. They're quite big models as well compared to some of the other older Sylvaneth models, so again, definitely trying to give them more of their own identity compared to some of the early stuff that was, you know, Warhammer Wood Elf stuff that was left over. Again, the Night Guy with the spear is really nice. Really, really cool vibe. I'd like to see a unit of kind of tree revenants with spears, tree revenants with bows. I think that'd be cool. And then we've got the guy with the little scythe here. Again, very, very nice model. And then finishing off the warband, we've got a couple of units of Dryads as well. Again, these are updated from the old Dryad kit, and it wouldn't surprise me if they get a new Dryad kit at some point, just to, I guess, bring the old ones up to date. But yeah, really, really nice models. If you're picking up this box for Age of Sigmar because you play both of these factions, you're not going to be disappointed here. And again, I think this is the final box of this Gnarlwood story arc. So again, if you want kind of completionists who want all of the stuff available for Warcry this edition, you're going to want to pick this up too. So yeah, really, really cool box, really fun scenery, really nice to build. I'm kind of tempted to do some Bone Reapers myself at some point, but yeah, I think the Sylvaneth for me takes the favourite faction out of the box, and that big horrific gribbly flesh tree thing is pretty cool to have on the battlefield too. So yeah, that's our look at the new Briar and Bone box for Warcry. If you head over to spruesandbrews.com, we do have a full write-up as well with more pictures of all these, pictures of all the sprues, the cards, all that kind of stuff over on the website. So if you do want a bit of a deeper dive, then check that out. And if you would like to support the site as well, we do have an affiliate link to Element Games in the description. If you buy your copy from there, we get a bit of a kickback which goes towards supporting the site. And yeah, if you do like what we do, why not give us a follow and give the video a like. We do lots of videos like this, unboxings, battle reports, reviews, painting videos, all sorts of stuff like that. So if you do enjoy it, give us a like, comment on the video. It really does help with the algorithm as well for pushing more people towards our content. But yeah, until next time, have a great weekend and we'll see you soon.